Hybrid learning has existed for many years, but during this pandemic, it has been pushed to the forefront as many teams began to work remotely. And even though we are still in a pandemic and many of the restrictions have been lifted, most employees have returned to the office while others continue to work remotely. So with this new flexible work arrangements, employees also find themselves having to learn in a hybrid workspace. So if you are someone who is tasked with facilitating to a hybrid audience, then this video is for you, as I will be sharing with you 4 things to consider when facilitating to a hybrid audience. So let's begin. Hello again, I am Marcia from Marcia's 5-Minute Tips, where I create bite-sized videos about learning and development. So today I'll be sharing with you about hybrid learning and sharing with you 4 tips to consider when facilitating to a hybrid audience. So let's start then by defining the term hybrid learning. Hybrid learning is the delivery of learning to an in-person and online audiences at the same time. So with this definition in mind, it takes me then to my first tip, and it is all about design, design, design. You really have to ensure that the content that you're delivering is designed for both audiences, those in the virtual space, as well as those that are there in the room with you face to face. This is important because you want to ensure for the most part that both audiences are having the same or similar learning experiences and no one is being disadvantaged in any way based upon their location. Tip number 2 then is to assess your skill set, right, as the facilitator to see if there are any gaps as relates to facilitating in this hybrid environment. I know most persons are familiar with facilitating, virtually and or face to face, but then there may be persons who might be new to facilitating to a hybrid audience. So assess where you are today, determine how comfortable you are facilitating, determine how comfortable you are, I would say, facilitating and navigating the conversation and the group dynamics between the two audiences as well. And if there are gaps, remember, you can put a learning plan in place to close those learning gaps. And then tip number 3, I would say, is all about your classroom setup, right? Remember to display your remote participants. Now, this is important because it helps with engagement as you're able to see and interact with them more effectively. I really like this photo from the playbook, The Future of Learning. As you can see, we have persons who are there to the training face to face. There are persons who are also logging into the presentation virtually as well. And you can see our virtual participants, they're projected at the front of the room because I know, right? As a facilitator, it's easy. And it's not intentional that you're going to forget those persons who are logging on, but if you have them projected at the front of the room, you're able to engage with them as well, all in an effort to make sure that they feel included into the session as well. And that takes me then into my 4th tip, right? That you as the facilitator, you as the presenter, you really have to be intentional about sharing your attention between both audiences. Now, I know this is easier said than done, right? But many organizations have a producer or they have a moderator or they have an additional team member who's helping with the chat and the discussion forums, etc. So you as the presenter, you as the facilitator, you're able to balance your attention between the both audiences. Now, this is important because, again, it keeps your audience engaged. It creates an inclusive learning environment as no one, feels left out. It also allows both audiences to have a voice as they're able to share their comments and their questions as well. And as I conclude, the research conducted on this topic all say the same thing. Hybrid is here to stay. And so with that being said, I really hope you found these 4 tips to be helpful, especially if you're new to facilitating in a hybrid workspace. Don't forget to like and share my videos, as well as subscribe to my channel. Again, I am Marcia Larimore, and I will see you next time.